Imagine walking into your first big interview, all confident, all prepared, until the interviewer throws this question at you. So, what would be your strengths and weaknesses? Now, suddenly your mind goes all blank. But if you are not flipping this question to sell yourself in the job interview, trust me, you're missing out. But don't worry. Today in this video, I am going to make sure that you never struggle with this interview question ever again. Hello everyone, I'm your host Ishita and welcome to day 1 of decoding tricky interview questions with me, where I'll be covering the most asked and the commonly asked questions in the job interviews. And in today's video, I'll be covering the question which is asked in 80% of the interviews, and that is, what are your strengths and weaknesses? So by the end of this video, you'll exactly know why this particular question is asked in every job interview, and you'll also know the correct approach to answer it professionally. And if you are a fresher with no work experience at all, don't worry, because I'm going to provide you some sample answers that you can use to craft your own response. So stay with me till the end of the video. Okay, so let me tell you something. A bad answer to this question can really throw you off, and 99% of freshers, I repeat 99% of freshers are not correctly prepared for this question. Now this might seem like a very simple question, like whenever an interviewer asks you that what are your strengths and weaknesses, you just state them and your job is done here. But it's not. But trust me, there's a right way to answer this question, which is going to dictate how your interviewer perceives you during the entire interview. Now, to understand the correct way to answer this question, we first need to understand that why this question is asked in an interview. So when an interviewer asks you this question, he or she basically wants to know these 3 things. Number 1, are you even aware of your weaknesses? Which means that have you even identified the areas where you lack skills or need improvement? Number 2, have you learned something from your weaknesses? Which means that are you even doing something to improve or work on it? Now the interviewer needs real and professional stories here. Number 3, do your strengths align with the job description or not? Which means, for example, if you're applying for the role of a content creator, which means that you require good communication skills. So the interviewer wants to know that good communication is your strength or not. Are you even good at public speaking or not? So to know the correct way to answer this question, we'll be dividing this question into 2 parts. Number 1, your strengths, and number 2, your weaknesses. So first we'll come to your strengths. And here many candidates respond with vague or generic answers like this.
My strength is that I work hard and never give up. I'm a fast learner, so I can do anything. I'm good at coding, marketing, designing, and finance. I don't have any strengths yet, but I am willing to learn.
See, the best thing you can do here is share your strengths with instances. Now think like this. It is obviously very easy for us that when someone is asking you that what are your top 3 qualities or top 3 strengths, you can just tell them what your strengths are in a second and you'll be done there. But how is it going to sound convincing? How is the interviewer actually going to believe that you are telling the truth? You need to give proof of them. For example, if you say that you are a good team player or you are a supportive collaborator, you need to share instances or examples from your real life with them which made you thinking that you are good at it. Now, if you have work experience, then try coming up with strengths which are linked to the work you have already done and come up with examples that justify your strengths. And if you do not have any experience at all, then what you can do is pick instances from your real life, from your college projects, any projects that you have maybe done in your classwork, your internships, any volunteer activities that you participated in. So you can take instances from them, justify your strengths and try narrating them under 1 or 1.5 minutes. And your response should always align with the role you are currently applying for demands. And how you can do this? By carefully reading the job description. And that's been my tip to all the freshers, that before you go to any interview, it's always very essential and very necessary for you to read the job description carefully. For example, if the job requires problem-solving skills, then narrate how you analyze situations and find solutions instead of just saying that I face trouble while solving complex problems or I panic with problems. And if teamwork is required as a skill, then highlight how you nicely collaborate with others or how you like to work in teams instead of saying that I prefer to work alone. Now here's a sample answer for all the experienced professionals. One of my greatest strengths is my ability to adapt and learn quickly. In my previous role as a marketing executive, I had to transition from traditional marketing to digital strategies as per the era. So I took the initiative to upskill myself. I learned SEO and social media marketing and successfully improved our brand's online engagement by 40%. And here's a sample answer for freshers with no work experience. So my biggest strength would be my eagerness to learn and take on challenges. So during one of my college projects, I often took the initiative to lead in organizing tasks, ensuring deadlines were met and coordinating with my peers. Even in my internship, I quickly adapted to all the new softwares and processes, which helped me to contribute meaningfully within a very short span of time. And now we'll come to your weaknesses. So 85% of freshers are not able to come up with good weaknesses on the spot.
I can't work under pressure. I'm a perfectionist, which sometimes takes me longer than expected. I sometimes take criticism very personally.
So the best thing you can do here is always go prepared for this question. Now, 3 things to keep in mind here. Number 1, your weakness needs to be real and relevant to the job you're applying for. For example, if you're applying for a marketing position, you cannot say that you are not a great dancer. Number 2, you cannot mention the most important skill that is required to do that job. For example, if you're applying for the role of a content creator, you cannot say that you are shy in front of the camera or you're not comfortable with the camera. And even if the job requires you to be creative or have good communication skills, you cannot say that you are awkward with public speaking. That is going to be a red flag for them then and there. And thirdly, best case, you can always highlight something that you have already been working on to improve. Now, the key here is to turn your weakness into a story of growth. So instead of just highlighting your weaknesses, you need to highlight the steps that you have already been taking on to improve on that, which will sort of give the interviewer an assurance that you have identified your weaknesses, you have identified the areas where you lack skills, and now you're actually taking conscious decisions and actions to improve on it. Now here's a sample answer for all the freshers. Earlier in my academic and internship experiences, I struggled with speaking up in group discussions. I often had good ideas but hesitated to share them. Realizing this, I started pushing myself to participate more actively in team projects and even joined a public speaking club. Over time, I gained confidence and now I make conscious efforts to contribute my thoughts in all the meetings I attend. While I'm still improving, I'm much more comfortable expressing my ideas now. Now I've also added a few strengths and a few sample answers to the weaknesses in my description, which you can use as per your relevancy or you can use them to craft your own response. So don't forget to check out my description. And that's it, you're good to go. Now you have a clear strategy on how to answer this commonly asked interview question very confidently and professionally. And if you guys found this video helpful, put a thumbs up and share it with your friends who might be prepping up for their first job interview. And you never know, this might actually be what they need. And if you guys have any doubts regarding job interviews, drop your questions in the comments and I'll be happy to help. And for more tips on interviews, resumes and LinkedIn optimization, don't forget to watch my previous videos and don't forget to follow me on Instagram. Thanks for watching. Bye.